Hi, Lilith. Good evening.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's good afternoon for you, correct? We will just wait if in case some other people join.
No
Otherwise,
problem, sir. No problem.
yeah.
Thanks.
Last week I had some technical problem because of which I could join late. So a lot of people were waiting. So I joined a little early today, but maybe they will join after some time.
Yeah, it happens, sir, sometime.
This is actually a very good solution which I developed, um, and I did it for Novartis. But after the solution is accepted and everything, but after that I have enhanced it quite a lot. So
Uh,
I thought I will share this with you. It can be useful for your purposes. You can get number of things from here.
Yeah. Actually, sir, my mostly background is I'm also a developer, and
Yeah.
I'm passionate about developing.
Hmm.
I'm more in AI development. Like I'm just creating chatbots, AI agents,
Hmm.
and more not much work in data sciences.
Hmm.
But it's a very like interesting and like like it's like it 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 is having lot of potential. Actually, I've seen actually.
Yeah, I
Because if you,
yes, sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, it's having a lot of potential actually. I'm seeing a lot of potential because people are having very limited, like you can say they don't understand the scope. I know it's very difficult to get investments for this, but I think once you are able to convince, then
Hmm.
you can earn X like unlimited things actually.
Yeah. No, last week only I developed a Gen AI
Mhm.
based chat chatbot, not
Uh-huh.
the Telegram bot actually. Good evening, Priyanka.
Okay.
Priyanka, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So that is that the Telegram bot is pretty interesting because uh, now I'm going to customize it because
Uh-huh.
I customize it because many of my friends they are into share trading, and
Mm.
I will see if I can make that bot specific for share trading. So
Yeah.
that is the next stage of research. Priyanka, we are waiting for if in case some more people join. So we'll just wait till 7:10, otherwise we will start.
Yes, sir.
See, this is the example of that chatbot.
Mhm.
So
Wonderful, wonderful.
it
I'm
is
I'm thinking of yeah, I'm also thinking of like this, like so that I can manage myself, like because there are like lot of things are around, and I want one consolidated like some bot like Slack or something like that, where I can get all my consolidated what do you call it notifications or might be alerts, and then I can do action from there only. So I'm also thinking of this. This is very good, sir. Very
yeah.
good. Yeah.
This is the initial testing when I was doing, but now it is fully functional. So I developed
Wow.
this last week.
Okay, okay.
We'll wait for one more minute, and otherwise, uh,
Problems.
we will start. And I'm very grateful that
Sure.
you guys joined. Uh,
No, sir, it's our player. We are looking for this, and we are thankful to you. At least you are giving something like is gems actually for us. Nobody is doing like this in the market actually.
yeah.
Sir, actually, I was trying through the link, sir,
Hmm.
clicking on the event, but I was not able to land, I mean, come on to meet this Zoom meeting, sir. I had to copy paste the link in Google and then I came, sir. So I think others might be facing similar issue or something, sir.
Oh, how do I solve it? I don't even know how to reach out to them.
Yes, sir, true, sir.
Last time, did you have a problem like this, or only this
No,
time?
sir. Only this time I had, sir.
Oh, maybe that is the reason why people are not able to join.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hopefully they will find a way. Let's start. Otherwise, you guys have taken the trouble to join, so let us
Sir, no issues.
make it useful for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was telling Lalit, Priyanka, for you also now.
Yes,
The thing is that I got this as a order from Novartis. They gave me a data set and they told me to find clinically similar similar clinical trials through a software. So I had developed a solution for them. The solution was accepted and everything. And but after that, I worked on this aspect much more, and that's what I'm going to discuss with you. What are the new areas which I found, and what the problem is all about? What is the best way to solve it, and all this kind of stuff. To give you a brief background, I understand both of you are maybe not from healthcare background. So what happens is that in the drug industry, these companies like these all drug manufacturing companies, they conduct various clinical trials, and these are very large in numbers. Like one company, like let's say the big companies like Pfizer or Novartis or Johnson and Johnson, these companies, they conduct between 5 to 30 clinical tests per month. Okay, so there are thousands of clinical tests which happen, and these clinical tests they last for various durations like 3 months to 9 months or 10 months. And after the clinical tests are performed, after the clinical test results are obtained, only then the decision is made regarding whether the drug will be released in the market or not. And also they will apply for approval from the authorities and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is a very expensive process. Now, before the clinical test can be performed, they have to plan how the clinical test has to be done. Normally, there are 4 phases of a clinical test. So how each phase will be conducted, what will be conducted in each phase, who are the people whom they will invite for the test, and so there are a lot of logistics problems. There are a lot of what do you call technical challenges which the companies have to undertake. So because of this reason, what do you call when they plan a clinical test, it is they're talking in terms of millions of dollars. It is not simple exercises. And so if the planning is not appropriate, then the entire money what they are spending in doing that will go waste. So they have to be very careful in terms of how to plan a clinical test. Now, this software which I developed, this is basically what it does is that it gives you the right clinical test which you have to perform. How? By finding similar clinical tests to the test which you are going to perform. So by studying those similar tests, you can get a complete idea regarding how to plan the current clinical test. So what is important is that the software should suggest the best matching clinical tests so that the best lessons can be learned and the current clinical test can be performed. So that is the context in which this software is being developed. Is the context clear? Any questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, I will first show you the kind of data what they provided. So this is the kind of data which they have provided. So where they have clinical tests have a number and they have a title and they have some URLs, and then the important things are what are the conditions, what are the interventions, outcomes, etc. All these it's a huge data. And this is one of the 4 data files. The when was the result obtained and all this kind of stuff is here. Okay. Now this data, this is a huge file actually. If you see this file, this only has got some. Oh, sorry, there's some problem with the formatting. This has got some 200,000 number of records. So like this, there are 4 files in which the complete data is available. Okay. Now, so what we do is that so there are some, I will provide you this notebook. You can study it in your free time. Um, So and so this data I have loaded in the Google Drive. So when you run this notebook, you will get this data from Google Drive. And okay, apart from the data which I showed you, they also they have provided a eligibilities file which states which clinical tests are eligible for being considered for mapping exercises. Okay, so this eligibility database file contains conditions like what is the minimum age, what is the maximum age, whether it is for only male or only female, or for both male and female, and a number of conditions. So whichever clinical tests, what do you call, satisfy the condition, only those can be considered for the evaluation. Okay, so first we download the data set and download the eligibilities, and after that, the 4 data sets, they are concatenated. Where did I concatenate them? Okay, now first, what we do is that we make the data sets such that the key column, the NCT ID which I showed you, which is the clinical test ID, that column is renamed appropriately so that all the files have the same column name. So that is the standardization, the key standardization which is done. And then what do you call, in the eligibilities also we do the same thing. And then the NCT IDs are cleaned. So each NCT ID provides the same kind of denomination, same kind of format. And after that is completed, I concatenate all the files so that I make a single data frame out of the entire stuff. Okay, after that, there is some specific treatment given to some fields, like the age field is given a specific treatment. So this is made in normalized. So you can go through this. So there are 2 columns actually, minimum age and maximum age. So we normalize the minimum age and maximum age and make it proper. Similarly, there is a field for gender. Gender is 3 genders, male, female, or all. So basically, whether the test is for male only or female only, or for both male and female. And after that, the data sets, the eligibility rules are applied on the data set to get the final data set on which we will work. Okay, now there are some special treatments which is done. I will show you that later on. So this forms the first thing is that I get the eligible clinical trials which I will work on in terms of finding semantically similar trials. So today's class we will devote on only understanding the problem which I have stated to you. And in case you have any question, you can ask me, and we will pre-process the data. So we are ready for the next step in the next week. So once we have that, I will show you how that you saw in a very disorganized manner the data. Now here the data is shown in a little bit more, what do you call, beautiful manner. So there are altogether 462,000 records in the data set. So it's a large data set, and the data set has number of columns. You can see that there's so many number of attributes in the data set. So and all of these are very, like for example, all these columns, they are very heavily textual columns. Okay, so they've got huge amount of text. So based on the text, you have to find similarities. So I will tell you strategies what we have, which we will discuss in the next class. But today, let's prepare the data so that it is possible to do some analysis on this. So now, based on so many number of columns, then I did a slide. I'm not a medical expert, you guys know that, but I did some amount of study, and also took the help of the Novartis business team, and identified the columns which I required for the analysis. So why the columns were decided for the analysis, it's given here. So I would suggest that you read it. So I have these columns which are eligible for being analyzed. So now now my data set looks little bit, number of columns look little bit smaller, but the number of records is still the same. Okay. Then based on this, if you notice that from a data science point of view, I have some problems in this column and this column, because you notice that the number of missing values here is very large. Okay. And now here, the column, the outcome measures or the phase is something which I cannot fill in myself. Okay. For example, outcome measures is definitely I cannot fill in myself. I cannot do any kind of imputation, right? Because these are text. How can I impute? I cannot impute that. If I impute anything, then I will destroy the data set which has been gathered. So in this case, definitely you'll recognize that this is a column which is better to drop and not utilize, right? So that is the decision why I decided to drop this column. The next data which has got a lot of missing values is phase. So this also, you see, it is not possible for now 50% of the data is missing. So I cannot even apply any kind of statistics like mean, median, mode or something like that in order to impute this. So that is the reason why I dropped this data. So do you have any questions regarding this? This is still we are in the data science area only. We're not really talking much about medical things. You have any questions at this stage?
No, it's understandable, sir. It's understandable.
Okay. So after this, this is my data set. These are the columns I have, and still I have so many number of records. Now what I have to do is that I have to normalize the data. Normalize the data. What I can normalize is, see, I cannot touch the NCT ID because it is the key. I cannot touch it. And these columns, that is from here, study title, brief summary, condition input, and these are all textual columns. So I cannot normalize any of these from here till here. I cannot change anything in the data. Okay. However, these columns, I can do some normalization. Okay. Out of these columns, like I understand that age, though it's an object, it is stored as a string, I should convert it into a number, right? So this is something which I will show you how I'm doing it. This is specific to this particular case. I will show you how to do this. But these things, like for example, study type, it has got 3 different values. So this is an ideal candidate for label encoding. Or study design. So this study design is also some specific categorical variables only. So though there are a number of records, I can do a label encoding on this. The status also I can do a label encoding on this. Okay. Now sponsor, there are a number of values, a large number of values, but this is also something which I will take it for label encoding. Okay. Now enrollment, number of enrollments, how many participants are there in the test. So this is a numeric field, I need not bother, but I can scale it to bring it down to the normal range. I will scale this data. And I will show you what I will do with age, and sex also is something which I can do a label encoding. So that is the normalization, what decisions which I have taken. So I will show you, first of all, I take the essential columns, out of which I mark out the categorical columns, the study type, design, status. On this, I will apply label encoding. And see, age, what I'm doing is that since it's a clinical trial, the actual age does not matter, but the category in which the person falls, it matters, right? Whether it's a child or an adult or whatever. That's why I marked out 5 different categories like this. And based on the age of the person, I am assigning one category to the person. So based on the age, I'm doing a mapping of the person in these categories. Now, once I do this, I will get a value between 0 to 5, which I can do a scaling on this so that I get it according to the same scales as other variables. So these columns I'm doing a label encoding, and these columns I'm doing a scaling. Okay. So where is the label encoding? Yeah, this is a label encoding which I am doing on these columns, and here I am doing the scaling. So once I have done this, so I get this. This is the scaled data of the numeric fields, And now the complete data set looks like this, where I have no missing values, and I have what do you call normalized the data. Okay, now so far so good. Any questions so far? No questions. Okay.
Sir,
Now,
how sponsor was normalized, sir?
see, sponsor, what I did was I did a label encoding. Okay. You see here, sponsor, I have taken it as a categorical column and I have done a label encoding on this. So every sponsor will get a unique number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least I'm taking away the string from the sponsor and replacing it with a number.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, two things. One is that this is the best I can do. And second thing is that uh, actually the sponsor does not have too much of a weight in terms of the semantic matching of clinical trials. It is a important column, but not such an important column also. Okay. So I could live with this decision. Okay. So now comes the heavy part of it. That is, I have to treat these 5 columns to make them proper. Okay. That is study title, brief summary, condition, intervention. All of these are textual columns. They contain a lot of text. And I have to do some treatment. So let us discuss what treatment we can give to them. Okay. So now here starts our NLP part. The first thing what I do is in all of those columns, I remove any kind of HTML tags which is there, HTML, XML tags which is there. I remove that. Now you understand that these data normally they are downloaded from the web. So since they downloaded from the web, it will contain a lot of HTML tags, which is not necessary for, which will cause a lot of disturbance in the analysis. So this has to be removed. That is the first decision. Second thing is that though these are medical documents, but then nowadays people have a fashion of putting emojis in what they write. Oh, I found this patient to be healthy, and one smiley face. Okay. Now, but for finding for data analysis, these are actually nuisance. So we have to get rid of them. So that is the second decision, that I remove the emojis from the data. Third thing is that, okay, this is very important, that I correct spellings. This is very vital because what do you call, normally text, any text will have spelling mistakes, and medical text, they have a lot of spelling mistakes. Okay. Now the thing is that what I am doing is that I am using a, a dictionary based spell checker. This is coming from a library called autocorrect. So this can be interesting for you guys for your projects. So this is from a library called autocorrect. I have taken this library called Speller, uh, and I'm utilizing that for the English language. This is available in other language also. Now the Speller, this is basically a dictionary based spell checker. That is, it checks against the dictionary and tells you whether the spelling is correct or not. But then I should have considered a medical spell checker also, which I tried, but I could not find compatibility with the environment which I'm using. Okay. But if you are doing serious about this work, then you should utilize a medical spell checker. That will give better results. Now, I am not ready to change my environment because I do use it for multiple purposes. So that is why. But if you are doing a dedicated work for on this subject, then you can consider a specialized medical spell checker. That is essential step which you can take. Okay. So any questions so far? No. And let me tell you upfront that this operation takes a lot of time, lots and lots of time. Okay, so you must be having a lot of time in your hand to be able to do this operation. You will require a lot of machine resources, CPUs, and I'm using GPU, and it is taking a lot of my GPUs. Okay, next operation what I perform is I expand the contractions. Now contractions, like things like don't, should be do not, and if that is why we do not require symbols like this, because this will create a separate symbol. So I have to expand all of these and make it into the normal English. So that contraction expansion I'm doing across the entire text. After having done all that, lastly, what I do is I lematize it. Lematize basically means I keep only the root word. Root word means supposing I have treating, treated, etc. I will convert that everything to treat. Okay. So I will do a lemmatization. So this is the entire operation which I'm performing for um, uh, pre-processing the text data. Now here, there's an important point here. Now I'm using a specialized package called spaCy for doing the lemmatization and lemmatization. Now this spaCy, this is very important. What I'm doing is that I'm not using an ordinary lemmatizer. Instead, I'm using a specialized lemmatizer from a package called spaCy. This is a Gen AI part of the solution. And now in this spaCy also I'm using the Core Web SM. This is a very advanced language package. Okay, but nevertheless, this is for normal English language. So if you are having a situation where you are making a chatbot for a product company like an electrical company or a instrumentation company or even a airlines, this works fine. But now since we are dealing with medical data, I should have ideally used some package like this one, uh, spaCy. Uh, there is another package called spaCy. I should have ideally utilized that, but I cannot utilize this basically because I cannot install this in my machine. I will show you that. So let me show you that. Uh, it will not install in my machine. So that is the reason why I am not able to show you this particular thing. But ideally I would have loved to utilize this. So let's see what it does. It will say that the libraries are not appropriate for this. Oh, right now the program is running, so it will not take it on. But anyway, you can see that you can try it in your machine. This will not work. Okay. So that is important. But nevertheless, these are the decisions which I have taken, and I am pre-processing the data, according to these decisions which has been made regarding pre-processing the data. Okay. There are some people who have joined late. Do you guys have any questions or are you okay? You want me to repeat anything?
I might have joined a bit late, but I have missed certainly X time, X minutes of time before I joined.
Okay, so the basic thing is that let me just restate the problem to you. The problem is that the drug manufacturers, they have to conduct various clinical trials. Okay, they conduct all across the globe. Around about 1,000 clinical trials are conducted per year, and each of the clinical trials are very expensive. So this involved millions and millions of dollars, and so the accuracy of the clinical trials is very vital, the way it is planned and the way it is executed. So to be able to plan and execute a clinical trial appropriately, what is required is that if they can find similar clinical trials from the past and then study them and then plan the current trial, it makes the designing of the trial very much easier. But since there are so many number of clinical trials performed every year, the amount of data available is very large. So they cannot scan through so much amount of data to find out which is the most ideal clinical trial. They make mistakes. That is why we introduce machine here. The machine can shift through large amount of data, and if it has the right algorithm, then it can find the most appropriate clinical trial. So that is the effort which is being done in this project to find the best clinical trials for a given new clinical trial which is being planned. Okay. So does it make sense now?
Yes, Partha.
Okay. So towards this, what I have is I have these data files, the huge data files. I will just show you. This is a huge, yeah, okay. So you see, these are huge data files which contain the details of the clinical trials. Now, reading this data, I have to create a system by which I will be able to find the best clinical trials which match my current requirement for the new clinical trial which I am planning. Okay, so that is what we are doing in today's session. We are not started to build the system yet. We are just cleaning the data and making it ready so that we can start planning how to make the system tomorrow, or from the next session onwards, that's next Sunday onwards. Okay, okay. So that and I was just discussing how the cleaning process is being planned. So this is what is the cleaning process. Now this is a very heavy process. I will show you that why it's heavy. So now because it's very heavy, I will show you some programming tricks which I have included. First major thing which I have done is that I have removed all duplicates from the data. They were nearly out of 460,000 records, nearly 114,000 records were duplicates. So that reducing that has given a very solid mileage to the processing effort, because now the processing will reduce drastically on that. Second thing is that since the processing is so heavy, I am not processing the entire data in one shot. Actually, when I'm trying to pre-process the entire data, this will take around about 6-7 days. I will show you that. Okay. Now I cannot take a chance. If something happens in 6-7 days, then my entire effort will go for a toss, and I will have to start all over again. So instead of doing that, what I do is that I do checkpointing. That is what I do is I process 1,000 records at a time. Okay. I process 1,000 records at a time. After processing 1,000 records, I save them and then take the next 1,000 records and then process it. Again, save them, again take the next 1,000 records and save. I carry on in this manner. Okay, so now let me show you how it is happening. So you see here, I'm taking 1,000 records at a time and processing every column on those 1,000 records. After having done that, I'm saving it. So when I save it, it makes a checkpoint for me. So this is the checkpoint which is doing. And if in case the process fails, this checkpoint remains, so that next time when I run the process, it will start from this point onwards. So in the actually this particular time also I started in between. I stopped the process and I started. So you see it started from 7,000 record. So it did not do the previous ones because by the time I had already checkpointed the data. Okay. And right now, after removing duplicates, I'm left with 282,000 clinical test records. So which is my data set, which is also very large. And you can see here, this process now it has been running since early morning today, around about 4 o'clock today, and it has only processed 30,000 records, 34,000 records, 33,000 records, and it is going to still take another 134 hours. So this is a very heavy process. So that means to say, watch this kind of system making will take a lot of your time, lot of your money, and lot of your resources. And so ideally, like what I also did in this case was that I did a prototype on a very small data set, 100 records, and I checked whether my complete pipeline is working properly. After I checked my pipeline, then I started the entire process, and I'm executing it right now. So like I told you, I'm going to pre-process these columns and I'm doing a checkpointing. So this checkpointing is basically checking if the checkpoint exists. I start from that point onwards. Otherwise, I start from right from the beginning. And at every stage, I am doing okay, this is something which I had to do because of experience. That is where is that? Yeah. Uh 1 minute, I will just show you that. Yeah, this is something interesting. Yeah, here. Now, even though since the data set is so large, it is not possible for me to scan through the complete data set. So only when I start processing, I will know whether it contains a problem or not. So while it is processing, if in case it finds an error, it will isolate that record and it will keep it separately in a separate data frame for me, so that I can view it later on and I can see whether I want to rectify it or whether I want to discard it. So this is what the process does, and you can see that at the end of the show, I also save my failure records in a separate CSV file so that I can analyze them. So this is very vital from a design point of view, that you handle such exceptional cases so that the program doesn't fall in between and it carries on and till the last completion time. So you see here while it was carrying on, this particular record has got some problem because of which it has been isolated. And I had to restart here because the process had failed here. And when the process had failed here, I put in this check, and now the process is running smoothly without any problem. It has reached up to 35,000 records right now, 33,000 records right now. Where is it? Yeah, it is processing 33,000th record. So any questions so far on this? No questions? Okay. So now, in terms of technology, what I have utilized is, you can see that this is a Python which I'm utilizing so far. And for safety purpose, I've kept all the data files in Google Drive, and I'm accessing the data files from the Google Drive so that I don't have a problem, because you know that Colab environment is something which is not fixed. It will wash away everything after the session is over. So that's why I'm taking it from Google Drive. So it is persistent storage, and uh, even for this purpose, actually my environment uh, is a Pro Plus environment. Okay, so it is expensive to do these kind of exercises. Okay, so it is a Pro Plus environment, and then I'm using scikit-learn extensively for label encoding, standardization, etc. Then I utilize a tool called Pretty Table. This is for producing outputs which are more beautiful as compared to normal print statements. So you can see here, these are much more legible um, legible outputs as compared to print statements. So this Pretty Table is utilized, and then I already talked to you about spaCy. This is the advanced library which I'm utilizing for language checking. This is the advanced language library which I'm utilizing, and I'm basically utilizing it for lemmatization. And I should have ideally used spaCy, but I cannot use it because it is not compatible with my machine. Now, within this spaCy package also, there are many packages. If you utilize this AEN core Sci, this is the scientific, these two are scientific. And here also, I showed you that I'm using this advanced library. 1 minute, I will show it to you once again. Yeah. So I'm using this at WebSM. This WebSM is the advanced library. Instead of WebSM, if I had used Core SM, that was a much more lightweight library which can work much faster. WebSM is something which will take a huge amount of time to execute, like you can see it is taking right now. Okay, so these are decisions which we'll have to make as a program designer, as to how you want to, what tools you want to use and things like that. Okay, so and if in case I have to utilize the scientific spaCy, then I have to downgrade my Python and set up my environment so that it is compatible with scientific spaCy. So these are decisions typically which you have to make, how important it is for your project. Okay, now coming to the next part. Okay, size spaCy, I already discussed this. and this also I discussed. So that is all. So yeah, do you have any question? Did you find it useful, whatever we discussed today? And would you be interested to join next week so that we proceed with making the model, etc., design, etc.?
Yes, for me it's like interesting because I will join next week also because I need to learn this like how to handle a case study actually because it's because you have experience. I'm having zero experience on this, so I need to join next week. Yeah, to
Okay.
learn more about this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we this is basically our job. We take projects from we try to get projects from companies and like I have told you, the people who have joined me in the previous meetings, in my company, I'm not interested in launching a product and managing the product because I don't have that kind of bandwidth and I'm not interested in scaling up to that level. So what I do is that I create solutions and I give it away. So after the solution is created, the company who for whom I build the solution, they are the ones who have to manage the product, its life cycle and its utilization, etc. So I don't get into all that. So that is what we do. Okay. Okay, I will just share some resources which I planned to share with you guys, so that you can study this. Yeah, this planned 3 resources to be shared with you guys. So just go through these and give me a feedback as to how you're finding the resources which I'm sharing and the discussion which is happening. So I will know whether how I need to modify or do something so that it is more interesting for all of you. Okay.
Sir, can we find similar data on what Kaggle or something, sir, so that at least we can try?
No, no. The thing is that I do not know whether you have similar data. This is a very, very curated data set. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The very curated data set. Even if you find data sets on Kaggle, it will not be because this is actual company's data. Okay. They have only obfuscated little bit. So if you
Yes.
utilize this code, this data will come to your machine. If you run
Okay,
if
sir.
you run this code, the data files will come to your machine, and from here you just download to your local
Okay,
machine,
sir.
and you can work on this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. If you search Kaggle and things like that, you might find some data, but it will not be as good quality data as this one. And this is a huge data set. I don't think anybody will give you such a huge data set uh, uh, for whatever purpose it can be. Okay.
The session was very good, sir. Actually, we once again the concepts of standardization, normalization, lemmatization were all reviewed, sir. And I mean, really, when this sort of data is given, and as soon as we like by understanding the path that you are taking, we also get confidence if we have similar sets of data, so that we can do work on that, sir.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
very nice, sir. Session was very good, sir.
Thank you very
I
much.
would like to join the next session also, sir, and I'll join, sir.
Yeah, the next session will be more could be more interesting because we will make design decisions, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we have the data, but what to do with the data is something which we will discuss in the next session. And you see that I already have a challenge. Like I showed you my challenge. Now this to just create the data, make the data ready. I required enough time to write the program, and now I require at least 5 days time to process this data so that I get the final output which I can utilize for my model building. Okay, so these are so here, though it's a basic step, I have so much amount of expense on this. So you can imagine when I'm trying to make a model for this, a production ready model for this, how much design decisions I have to make. That is something you can anticipate, right? So in terms, you can extrapolate and find out that it's a challenge which we have to face. So what are those challenges, etc.? How we make those decisions, I will discuss with you next week.
Okay.
Okay, then thank you guys for joining. And if in case you guys can read through the documents, it will be nice. And I really express my gratitude that you people have joined, taken your time out on a Sunday, that too. And so hope to see you next week, and we will continue the discussion. Right?
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Good night, all.